Hello and welcome to your channel Clear Waters. Tonight is either God or life doesn't make sense. This title is inspired by yesterday's conversation with some viewers, some callers, a very interesting conversation, and also because of a video that one of the viewers, callers yesterday sent me today. So I was like, let's talk about this topic. I think it's interesting. So this is it. Give me just one moment. I'm going to make sure that everything is running okay. Yes, and my Discord is on. It is on. Welcome everybody. Dylan Shaw. God, obviously. Rodrigo Hernandez. Prayer de protection. Hello, welcome Sherry Tuksolski. Welcome everybody. We're gonna wait just a few more minutes to allow more people to join, and I'm gonna make this little very tiny presentation about is it either God or life doesn't make sense? What? I'm gonna be showing you a short video about a person with the name of Ray Comfort, who was one of the persons that inspired me to do this channel. Yes, he inspired me to make this channel because I could not take it anymore. While we wait for a few more people, a few more minutes, I'm gonna find that video. There it is. Just preparing this so I can show it to you. It's gonna take a minute here. There it is. Okay. I think we're ready for that video. So everything looks good. Let's go back to the chats. So it's either God or life doesn't make sense. Is that true? I don't know. I'm not sure. Hey Bobby9192, welcome to the live stream. You are on the horizontal live stream, just in case. I'm live streaming on both horizontal and vertical. We're just waiting like 3 more minutes in case more people are going to join the live stream. And then I'm gonna show you just a very short, tiny video about the person, one of the persons that inspired this channel. His name is Ray Comfort. I was tired of putting comments on his videos to please stop the nonsense, stop the madness. I'm like, no man, I'm gonna put a channel and I'm gonna name it almost the same as his. His channel is Living Waters. Mine is Clear Waters. Just because I think what he's doing is wrong. Hey Bobby, how much would life suck if there was a God that had your life planned out for you? I think the key word in there is plan. What the plan word means. Like it's written already and you have no choices, or you do have a free will and choices that you can choose something different from what God has planned. If this is your first time here on the live stream, it is my point of view that believing in God is a problem for humanity. I think it's creating havoc, lots of problems in humanity. As long as the gods are invisible, yeah, they will continue to create division and conflict. So what you're looking at the image right now on the screen, I'm trying to bring awareness that the only reason that you believe in a God is because of the emotional benefits that you get from believing, not because of a God. It seems quite normal to me that someone that believes in one of these particular gods will reject anything that goes against the idea of a loving God. God the Fraud, welcome to the live stream. We're just waiting 2 more minutes before we start this little presentation, and then we get into the conversation about, is it either God or life doesn't make sense? If God gave us free will, why does he do miracles that take away from the free will? Lazarus didn't have a free will when Jesus unilaterally brought him back to life. God the Fraud, that's one of the many examples you can bring up about the problematic of supposedly us having free will when there's an all-knowing God. It is problematic. So we're just waiting 1 more minute. I'm just gonna present you a little video in my point of view, which is very problematic in my point of view. What Ray Comfort does, he in my point of view, in my opinion, he has a business, a God business, selling God and selling salvation and making good money with it, using very old emotional tricks in order to manipulate someone. And this is why I'm bringing awareness to this, so you're not manipulated, myself either. We're not manipulated by people, in my opinion, like Ray Comfort. Tart Oliver, welcome to the live stream. Life makes sense without a deity. Yeah, but that is hard to understand for someone that believes in one of these currently available gods. It seems that it's not that they don't understand it, they don't want to understand it, because that doesn't align with the idea of the loving God. So, okay, it's been time enough. I'm gonna show you a small video about a guy named Ray Comfort. Let me stop this music. Hey, Life for Christ, I know you're on the Discord channel. Just hang on in there, my friend. I'm gonna show a video and then we can get in a conversation if you don't mind. I'm gonna show a video from Ray Comfort. I'm gonna make it short because I don't wanna be have a strike from YouTube. Okay, let's hear this. Let me go back a little bit.
I'm not atheistic, I'm agnostic. There may be something, but I don't know the answer to that. So he's still trying to hide behind ignorance. And the book of Romans chapter 1 says he is without excuse because of the evidence of creation.
If there is a God, prove it.
I'm going to give you scientific proof of God's existence.
I can't wait.
Let me just...
Okay, Ray Comfort is gonna give this person scientific evidence that God exists. If anybody in this world listens to this, I think that if you love your life, you love your family, you will pay attention to what he's gonna say, right? Because someone that is saying that they're going to provide scientific proof for the God of the Bible, man, you better listen. So let's listen to this scientific proof.
just ask you a few questions. It's just straight common sense. When you look at...
So we start very wrong. Because in order to provide scientific proof, he needs the cooperation of the other person. I smell BS. I think he's gonna go through this very old routine from Ray Comfort of creating this polarity emotionally in order to make you feel like should, and then he provides the source of feel good for you. And then in the, my friend Aaron, if you can put a mute in the meantime that I'm doing this presentation, if you don't mind, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. Yes, so let's hear this scientific proof.
Look at a building. How do you know there was a builder?
Because I'm looking at it.
Yeah, the building exists.
So basically, he's gonna go through this routine of making him give some answers and use that information in order to prove scientifically that the God of the Bible is real.
Evidence of a builder. He could have died 100 years ago,
Sure.
but you know the building didn't build itself. When you look at a painting, how do you know there was a painter?
Because I can see it. It
Yeah,
exists.
the painting exists. The painter could have died 300 years ago, but you wouldn't be so silly to believe that the painting painted itself. Creation, flowers and birds and trees, sun, moon, stars, all these things show us the existence of God. This is what the Bible says. The invisible things of Him from the creation of the world are clearly seen.
So far, it's just preaching and no scientific proof.
Being understood by the things that are made. Therefore, they are without excuse. The issue is not God's existence. The issue is our morality. Could it be that you don't want to believe God exists because you're doing things that are morally offensive?
So no scientific proof. He's just gonna try to play the emotional card. You know, you are a piece of shit, and God, you don't deserve God. So God is going to love you and allow you into His love.
To Him. Would that be correct?
No.
Okay, let's go back to those commandments. So you've used God's name in vain. I heard you use it. As you'll see in a moment, I made a big mistake by moving away from his conscience using the commandments, and now he wants to get away from them.
You asked me, or what was it you said about the Bible? You said all of the things about creationism, all of the things under the sun.
I gotta stop sometimes, you know. I'm not gonna put the whole video because I don't think it's fair, even for Ray Comfort. You can go watch the whole video in his channel. I'm just putting a little part just to show you that behind a belief in a God, normally there's dishonesty. In my point of view, you cannot believe in a God and be an honest person at the same time. It's not possible. In my point of view, you have to sacrifice something, and you're going to sacrifice your honesty. In this case, this is exactly what Ray Comfort is doing. I think Ray Comfort knows that you can manipulate someone, their emotions, their feelings, into believing that the God is real, and you can hear it the whole entire video.
Etc., etc., etc. Where I've got.
Creation is proof of the Creator.
So if you notice, no scientific proof. He was basically lying. He opened with that just to introduce his preaching.
Creation couldn't create itself. It's scientifically impossible for creation.
So creation couldn't come up by itself. So it had to be done by the God of the Bible. I always make fun of that because I think it's hilarious.
To make itself.
It would have just come into being.
No, that's scientifically impossible because of the second law of thermodynamics.
Okay, fine. You are supposed
Scientifically impossible because of the law of thermodynamics. Man, wow. I'm sorry, I can't help it. You know, this thing is hilarious that people in the year 2026 fall for this crap. I'm sorry to use that word, but this is absolutely hilarious.
supposing that the book that you follow is the one truth, that it outlines history.
I haven't said that.
Well, if you're telling me that that is the truth, that if that is your proof that creationism or God exists.
I haven't said that, but basically everything that I said, I'm taking it based in the Bible.
That book, I don't believe in your book.
Nick, I'm not trying to get you to believe in the book. This is my dilemma. If you're walking past a house and it's on fire, it's 2 stories. It's
This about bringing examples and trying to compare human beings to a God, I think is absolutely no sense, and pretty much 99.9 of the examples are just very bad comparisons. So why would someone do this? I think this is a way to cop out, because you should be bringing the example of God himself, not to humanity, to humans. Why you want to compare God with a human being or a situation here in humanity?
wooden, and you know on the second story there's a guy who's a night shift worker, he's asleep. So what do? Do you just say, oh, burn? No. You throw a stone at the window and try and wake him up and get him out of there because you care about him. Let's say he opens the window and says, get out of here, buddy, stop throwing stones at the window, I'm going to call the police. And you say, your house is on fire. He says, I don't believe it. And he goes back to bed. What are you going to do? Keep throwing stones or just let him burn to death?
Suppose.
You keep throwing stones. His name in vain, I've heard you. You've looked with lust, taken you in the stone.
Suppose.
You keep throwing stones.
Okay, let's listen to the part that he gets into the feelings of the person in order to create a polarity, an emotional polarity in the person. Then you can manipulate a person if you don't know what the Ray Comfort is doing.
Stones. You'd bang on his door. You'd say, get out of there, please. You're going to burn to death in the 10 commandments, and you won't let me. You've used God's name in vain. I've heard you. You've looked with lust. You've lied and stolen. By your own admission, you're a lying, thieving, blasphemous, adulterer at heart. And if God gives you justice on...
So Ray Comfort does this with everybody, you know, again, playing with your emotions, with your feelings, get you into the negative so he can provide you the carrier or the conduit to move you into the positive side of your feelings, pointing to whatever he's offering you, where he's going to get benefited emotionally, most likely through money.
On Judgment Day, you're going to be justly damned. I don't want that to happen. I want you to repent and trust in Jesus, who died on the cross so you could go to heaven, so you wouldn't have to end up.
So that is, I'm going to stop it right there. That is your scientific proof. Just a guy selling this.
If you enjoy apologetics, you might like to know the Evidence Study Bible is packed with apologetics.
Loud music. What else are you selling?
For you, Caitlin. That's the chase.
Adultery.
So that is your website where you can buy all he's got merchandise. So that's it. That is your scientific proof by Ray Comfort. And people tell me that no, God has nothing to do with your feelings, where Ray Comfort based his entire supposedly scientific evidence by playing with your feelings. That's it. So you believe in a God? You're doing it because of the emotional benefits that you get from believing. So now we get to the chats, or if anybody wants to call in. I know, Aaron, you were calling. You can call now. I apologize. I wanted to do the presentation first. And we can talk about this problematic of believing in God and giving our money to people like this guy just for getting to play with our feelings. We got to stop this madness. Reason 1024. Whose video is this? The Ray Comfort. Wendy Kirkland, Clearwaters, how's your day? Sounds like it was great. It was great. Thank you very much, Wendy. Hopefully it was yours. It was for you too. Reason I knew I'd recognize his stupid voice. All right. Christopher Strata. Can you prove metaphors scientifically? Yes or no? Maybe you can prove one, maybe not. I don't think we're trying to prove metaphors scientifically. We're trying to prove the existence of a God. TX Dab, hello and welcome. Christopher Strata, can one of you answer my questions? I just did, Christopher. Reason, your question is nonsensical. Hersey 98. Clearwaters, why does more people in prison accept Christ than anyone else? Because they are on a negative side of an emotional scale, and they're trying to look for ways, unreasonable ways, to put themselves in the positive side of the emotional scale. If you were here yesterday, running away from pain towards pleasure, and people think that there is something of value in the information from the God. That doesn't mean that there is value in the information of a God. Christopher Reason, it really isn't. Try harder, Bob. Bobby9192. Christopher, I'll answer your question. What is it again? Reason, you prove metaphors exist by using them. Charles Oliver, that's not Ray. They do look similar. Behind the camera sounded like Ray Comfort, and that's Ray Comfort's channel. Charles Oliver, using the word creation, sneaks in the proposition that the universe is created. Charles Oliver also writes, the house analogy is crap, is countered by the homeowner investigates and finds no sign of fire. The person being interviewed is probably an actor with a script. Probably. Yeah. Possibly. Robert D3P8P, welcome to the live stream. You raise your message. Come on, you can express yourself. You can let us know about your thoughts, your views. King David 7 Mu, Clearwaters. Isn't it amazing that nobody in the whole world or the history of the world that is like you? That cannot be just a random coincidence. I think you're talking about my point of view that we believe in a God based on how we feel. Yeah, probably this is the first time you are hearing this, but you're not gonna hear it from me only because Every time I do this live stream, I try to get to people to correct me where I'm wrong or to push back. And so far, no luck yet. So it seems to me that we are heading in the right way. Believing in a God has to do with your emotions, with your feelings, and not with a real God. That's why I think Mr. Comfort understands this and takes advantage of that, as you can hear it on the video very clearly. Got the fraud. Can you prove sentences scientifically? Handy Andy -7. Humanity is a fart on the wind. We are a fluke with no purpose. We are not special and there's no sky daddy. Hersey 98, that's your analogy. Yeah, so you heard it yourself. Ray Comfort was going to provide scientific proof for the existence of God, but there was absolutely no scientific proof whatsoever. Zero. So in my point of view, that is called lying. Peyton Heath 6756, greetings. May Lord Jesus have mercy on us all. Oh, Peyton coming strong with the marketing of the God. Hersey 98. Our God, you mean your God, tells you not to waste your pearls on people like you. Hersey 98, I think you're here for a reason. Something about this information attracts you. I suspect that there are times during the day that you have doubts. And you're coming here to validate your good feelings about the supposedly loving God. Cersei 98, do you hear the part in the video where Ray Comfort provides the scientific evidence? Hello, Jam Food. Hello. Welcome.
Are you still taking calls or?
Yes, I'm taking calls right now. How are you?
Not bad.
Sure. Do you have a question? You want to make a comment about the topic of the live stream or the video that I just presented?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Yes.
Sure. Go ahead.
Well, okay. The question is it God or does Sorry, what was the question again? Is it either God or life doesn't make sense, right?
Is it either God or life doesn't make sense?
Right. So, what do you mean by that? First of all, let me just ask you that.
I think this started yesterday when the live stream from yesterday, we have some callers and we were talking about this. And one of the callers, which is Diva, he's well known in the channel, he sent me a video from Cliff Herther, I think is his name. And basically what Diva was saying is the same thing as Cliff was saying, that is either God or life doesn't make sense. But I think that's what someone that believes in a God would say.
Right.
Are you
Well,
a believer?
I mean, I guess, yeah, I am. I guess what they're trying to get at, I don't know what they're trying to get at with that. Like, wait, what do you mean by makes sense? What does that mean by that? What do they mean by that? Makes sense logically?
Yeah.
Makes sense morally?
Yeah, this is what, I'm sorry. This is what a person that believes in a God, in my point of view, or in the case of Cliff in the video, would say that you either have God in your life, you believe in God, or your life doesn't make sense. You don't think that way?
Well, I do in a sense, I guess. Like, I guess I do sense that Like I think, for example, that the laws of logic depend on God to make to be justified, and I think morality relies on some kind of one God idea to be justified as well. But you could also think of it in the sense that, like, if humans are just the product of unguided random physical laws, right? Then why should we trust our own powers of reasoning to discover truth, reliably, right? So that's another problem with the idea that there's no God, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably you have not. Go ahead.
Have you ever thought about that idea? I think it's been articulated a few times by philosophers, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I'm explaining on my live streams that it is my point of view that as human beings, we go through this process of acquiring information, we evaluate it, and we see if there's a value, what I call perceived value, and then we take action on that information. So in the case that someone believes in a God, they find value in the promises that a God made, like for example, eternal life. That information makes you feel good, and because of feelings precede action, someone takes action towards a God and starts believing in that God. But we're talking about information and feelings and actions. We're not talking about a God.
Well, I mean, that's like you just kind of avoided my question, and you just brought up this other discussion about how people might believe things just for their feelings, which may be possible, but my question was
Yeah, go ahead. Ask it again. I thought I answered it, but go ahead.
okay, if we're just the product of physical processes that are random and unguided, like just naturalism,
Mm-hmm.
why should we trust our reasoning faculties to reliably discover truth?
Okay, so my answer probably was not complete. It was what I just said. We're doing the same thing either way, with a God or without a God. The human being had to go through that process of gathering information in the case of a God or no God, and evaluate it and move towards whatever we're going to do or believe. So
My point is that if there's a God, right, that we could say, okay, then we can see why there might be something like where he's given us the power of reason to determine truth. But if there's no God, why should we think that our senses or our mental faculties are able to do that?
I think your question invitates opinions, which I'm not providing my opinion. I'm trying to answer the question with what I'm seeing happens in a human being and how they perceive value in life. I don't know if my answer.
Yeah, I know, because you're kind of not quite. I think you're kind of dodging it or something, or like, I don't know. You're just like,
Try
I'm not
one more
saying you're
time.
dodging it purposely, but what
Try
I'm
one
saying
more
is
time.
okay. All right, let's just it's fine. Let's just say our brains are just chemical processes, chemical reactions, right? It's just cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
There's no actual there's no reason to think that those cause and effect reactions will lead to truth rather than falsehood. It's not as if our minds are actually guided by something greater than that, Whereas if
Okay.
there's a God, then you could say, okay, God gave us the conscious power to determine truth, and He wants us to know what is true. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
That's why if we assume there's a God, that could actually provide this basis for thinking that our powers of reason can determine truth. But if we
So
only base it on natural processes that are unguided, random, there's no reason to think that our minds are actually tracking truth,
Yeah, I understand your question correctly, but for me, it's hard to answer honestly your question because it sounds to me that in my answer, you need to be including the God. But the way I see it and understand it, God is something that you learn from information that you gather from my book or from someone else. So I'm trying to
Maybe,
move
maybe.
away. I'm trying to move
Uh,
away from
yeah.
the book and putting this focus on the human being. We can find value in everything in life with or without a God, and we can have like people talk about what's it called that word God give us our morals, for example, but morals we can learn it through a process of experience and evaluation and analysis. So I'm trying to answer your
Uh,
question honestly without getting into God or putting God in the equation. So to answer more clearly your question, we can find value and we can make decisions and go through life without one of these books telling us what
okay.
God, what
Okay.
life is. Go ahead.
Well, now you're talking about values, but I think like the thing is, look. Let me try one more time with this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we're just evolving. So we're evolving according to natural selection, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our ability to think is a evolutionary trait, an evolutionary advantageous trait that allows us to survive and to reproduce. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so there's no reason to think that our minds are capable of finding truth rather than finding what helps us survive and helps us to reproduce. You
Okay.
understand what I'm saying?
Yes. What do you
So
mean
that's why we
truth?
can't
What do you mean by
truth
truth?
as in the objective truth, like for example, um the notion that let's say if we go to morality, you were saying that we could just determine morality, right?
Yes.
But if it were the case that our minds are just determining survivability and reproduction, right? Then we
Mm-hmm.
might say to ourselves, okay, killing people for fun is wrong. But we might also say that killing that other race over there before they kill us, or because they're inferior to us, is good. And there's no reason to think that that's wrong, based on just survivability and reproduction. Like, there's no reason to think that we would say to ourselves, well, wait, they're human beings, we shouldn't just wipe them out. You know what I'm saying? What do you think?
Yes. Okay. So if you for a moment take the God and take evolution away from this conversation for a minute. If you have a
Sure.
person that is walking through a sidewalk, for example, and there's a fence of bricks you cannot see on the other side, and you find a brick or a rock on the floor, and you're like, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna throw this rock over the fence. I don't care if it hits someone on the head. I'm an immoral person. I don't care. So you throw it on the side of the fence. You keep walking, and then the rock returns and hits you on the head, right? And the person's like, "Whoa, that hurt. That really hurts." So he grabs it again and he throws over the fence. He doesn't care who's gonna hit in the head because he's immoral. Okay, has no interest in morals. He keeps walking, and the rocks hit him very hard in the head to the point that he's bleeding and he's in pain. He grabs the rock again, looks at it, and he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna throw this rock again over the fence. I think I just learned a lesson through pain.
Okay, but you're that kind of lesson assumes that person is kind of vulnerable to those kind of attacks. Let's say like you have two groups of people, and one group of people is much more militarily stronger than the other
Okay,
group.
hold on. I had to stop you. Didn't the example that I just provided you can make a person understand something without a God and without understanding evolution?
No, I don't think you. I don't think it would. It doesn't necessarily teach the lesson that throwing the rock over the fence is wrong.
So
It just
why he's
teaches that
not?
throwing the rock over the fence. It teaches the lesson that throwing the rock over the fence can lead to pain or injury, so therefore it's not wise. But if
Yes.
we're trying to get to the question of morality, right? Like whether it's morally right or wrong, that question is not answered there. And like I was saying to you, if you have one group of people which is much more militarily stronger than another group, and they decide that destroying that other group would be beneficial
I'm
for
so
them
sorry.
personally.
I'm so sorry. You taking a second scenario. I had to go back to the first one
Sure.
because I think you're moving away too fast on that
Okay.
example. You're talking about morals. It seems to me you're starting to point to the God. Someone just did something, learned something that for someone else can look like that is something that is moral. Hey, why you're not throwing that rock on the other side of the fence? Because he can hit someone on the head. And someone can ask him, what do you care? Well, I just felt it. I don't want someone else feeling that. I don't want someone else to hurt me.
Well, no, you don't know. You don't know that's what that person thought. All we know is the person threw the rock over the fence. The rock came back over and hit them on the head.
Mm-hmm.
And they might have learned the lesson that, oh, if I throw the rock over, it might hurt somebody else, so I don't want to do it. That might be good. That might be a good lesson. But they might not learn that lesson. They might just learn the lesson that when I throw the rock over the fence, it comes back over and hits you on the head, so that hurts me. So therefore, I won't do that anymore. It doesn't have anything to do with them thinking about other people, whether they hurt other people or anything. That lesson is not immediately apparent.
Why
from
not?
that event, you know?
Why not?
Oh, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? Why not? Why would it be?
Yeah,
It's not like the first. It's not like the first thing I would think of from that is, hey, if I throw it over the fence, I might hit somebody else and they get hurt. They don't have to think that. They don't have to think that.
they don't have
They might
to,
not think
but
that.
they could think that, right?
They might not. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
That's not even the point, though. The point is, though, let's say, what if they learned the lesson that, okay, when I throw the rock over the fence, it might get thrown back at me and I get hurt. Or they might think to themselves, wait, there's somebody on the other side of the fence trying to hurt me. So then they come back with a gun and shoot the person on the other side of the fence. We don't know what lesson they learned from that event. We don't need to think. Different people are going to take that event in different ways. They don't necessarily think
this
that.
is a very basic example. Now you're taking different variants and throwing them in there. But I just presented you with a very basic example on how can someone
They could possibly learn morality from that. They could possibly, but that will teach them other values, such as like, okay, how does that settle the question of the abortion question, or the question of whether
so you're saying that in that example there's no morality?
there's no necessarily a lesson about morality there, not necessarily, no.
So what do you mean by morality? What does the word morality mean to you?
Morality is like this idea about what we ought to do, what we should do in terms of what is right or wrong. And what I mean by that is, there are things that we consider to be. What is morality? Morality is like, there are these values that we have that lead us to we consider certain things to be wrong and they should not be engaged in. Other activities we think are good and they should be engaged in. We encourage them. That's morality.
I think you can agree that two people would not agree on what's wrong.
That's true. Yeah, it's true. But the fact that they don't agree doesn't mean that there isn't one right answer.
Yeah, but you're getting into something that is like muddy waters, while the example that I gave you is absolutely clear. Pain could
No,
be a
it's not.
very
It's
good
not clear.
teacher.
It's not clear. It's not clear at all. Like, for example,
Why
the
is
fact
not
that the person
clear?
feels pain, the fact that the person feels pain because the rock hit them in the head,
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily lead them to the conclusion that they should not cause pain to other people or anything like that. It doesn't. You're just
But in the
assuming that.
but in the
They might
case
just
that it
think they
did,
might just learn the lesson. Pardon me?
so there's no one in the entire world that will go through that example and learn the lesson that they should not be doing that.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
So
that
there's a
they won't
possibility.
necessarily.
I'm sorry.
There's
There's
a
a possibility.
possibility. Yeah, there's a
Yes.
possibility. Yeah, sure.
Yes. Okay. So at least we can agree that at least one person in the entire humanity will learn that lesson.
Okay, so what does that mean? That they could learn all morality, or that they could just learn that
You
based
keep
on those type
throwing
of
you keep
things?
throwing the
What if
word
that never
morality.
happened?
You keep
What
throwing
if
the
that
word
never happened to them? I mean, what like that kind of event, like that kind of thing happening, right? It's
So
very
you let's
low
make it more
percentage.
complicated then. Let's make it more
Okay.
complicated. How about I'm an immoral person and I like to walk around my gun with my gun, or let's not make it that exaggerated. I like to work with a around with a stick, and I like to hit people in the head because I have no morality, right? Is that a good example? Going
No,
around
because
hitting people
that's
in the
dumb.
head.
No, it's dumb. It's
Okay,
like
you bring the example
the
then. I'm
example is
sorry.
not okay. Like I was saying to you, let's say you have a society where there's two different racial groups in it,
Hmm.
and one racial group is extremely much more powerful, like in terms of numbers, in terms of military strength, and etc. And the other racial group is very weak and like they're lower numbers and less money, less weapons. And the larger racial group decides that the lower racial group is inferior to them and needs to serve them as slaves. So what would necessarily teach them that that's wrong? What will come about just based on natural laws, just based on natural, nature or whatever.
So you think in the case of God's morality, for example, they would not do harm to the smaller group because God commands so?
I'm just saying whether they would or not, that's up to them. But I'm saying that if there's a God, then we know that okay, they shouldn't do that. But if there is no God, there's no way to know.
So it seems to me that if you go from they're not doing what they're supposed to do and jump into a God, what happened to the human being? What happened with their decisions, their feelings, the process that they go through when they collect information and they make their decisions based on how they feel about it? If you
Okay,
have
well,
a if
I'm asking you to tell me like what would indicate to them that it's wrong to do that from
I think if
nature?
you have a bigger group of people with guns and more capacity to do harm, I think they're gonna go through this process of acquiring information to see if this smaller group is threatening them, and they're gonna see value in probably killing them or getting rid of them just by collecting information and feeling and then taking action.
Right,
So
so would you say that that's okay? Would you say that that's all right?
I think whenever you bring the words good or wrong into the equation, you're going to get in trouble, because then you're moving away from the human being and how we operate and how we work and how we go through this process that I call information, feelings, and taking action. Okay? If you
Okay.
if you
So
take the understanding away from the human being, you're going to have an Israel and a Palestine.
yeah, so would it be okay for Israel to destroy the Palestinians?
I
You
don't
just seem to You seem to suggest that it is, or there's
No,
reason
okay, just
say
to
that
answer
it
that
isn't.
question, thank you for asking that question. That's a very good question. I don't feel that it's okay. My feeling that it's okay or not okay is not going to change anything. But I think that by bringing awareness to what I'm saying right now could help people to remove the God from this situation, from Israel and Palestine, and to expose that it was happening right now in those countries is people being very fearful, Israel, and taking action on that fear. So this is done by people that, in my opinion, in my point of view, are very, very fearful.
Okay, but let's say they're fearful and they decide that to assuage their fears, they need to destroy the Palestinians, right? What would indicate to them, except for the fact that God told them they shouldn't do that, what would indicate to them that they shouldn't do that?
I think that probably a good example of communicating to them that it's not good for humanity for them to do that, because nothing good is going to come out of you taking decisions based on fear, probably if you get attacked back. For example, by miraculously by the United States attack them back. Probably they will stop immediately, because they're going to feel the pains of the bombs and the people dying all over the place. They're going to go through the same process, the same feelings, and then they're going to understand through the process of pain.
So okay, and so
No God involved.
I don't know. Like,
so far.
it's interesting. It's interesting that first of all, you're saying that it's not okay. But what are you basing that on? First
Yes,
of all,
it's not okay.
Secondly,
It's not okay just to answer your question because you are requiring a question. What if you want my answer? It will be is not beneficial for humanity.
okay, well, how do you know that? Like, what if they say that? How do you even know that, really? Like,
Because
what if it's true? Like,
there's just to answer.
wait. What if it's?
Go ahead.
Wait. Hold on a second. Hold on. What if it's like? What if there is something wrong with Islam such that destroying Islam would be good for humanity, and so wiping those people out would be good? How do you know that? Like, how can you prove that it is beneficial for humanity not to wipe out those people? How
It
can you
will
prove that?
it will be, going back to the case of Israel, it will be beneficial to communicate to the people of Israel that what they're doing is not beneficial to humanity, because we have enough information that killing people for no good reason, just because you're fearful and you're killing children, nothing good is going to come out of that.
Well, what information do you have that proves that? I don't understand that. Because if
We
it's true that, for example, I mean, you could claim that, you could make that claim, right? And they can say, no, you're wrong because these particular people are trying to wipe us out, and if we don't kill them, they're going to wipe us out. Therefore, you may be right about other cases, but in this case, it's good for us to wipe them out, including the kids. That's what we're going to do. How are you going to prove that they're wrong? I don't understand.
I think, do you value your life?
I do. I'm just saying, how can you prove this to somebody who doesn't believe in God?
So if I get to talk to Netanyahu, man, do you value your life? He's gonna say yes. So why you're not valuing someone else's life? You haven't learned the lesson yet?
He's
No.
gonna say to you, what he's gonna say is that, look, I value my life. They don't value my life. They're trying to wipe out my life and my kids' life, so I have to wipe them out before they wipe me out. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what he's gonna say to you.
Yeah, and I'm still gonna say to him that you're taking decisions based on fear because of something that happened. We're getting very deep into a very interesting conversation. I still continue to think that if you decided to kill men, women, and children just because you're hurtful of something that happened, or because you live in fear thinking that they're gonna attack you in the future, like for example they did with Iran. You know, I think, in my point of view, that that is not gonna end well. Actually, I think you're gonna be attacked back by other people. Your people from Israel are gonna be hated around the world. So don't expect anything good to come out of this just because you want to wipe out another country that is less powerful than you.
Right. Well, you know what? That's interesting. So I appreciate your point of view on this. I have to run now, but good talking to you. I'll try to come on and talk to you again soon. Okay.
Appreciate it, man. Jam
All
food.
right. Yeah,
Thank
food.
you.
Yeah. But nice to meet you. Have a nice day. God
Thank
bless.
you. Thank you for the call.
Okay. Um, sorry, I can't even find out how to get out of here. Okay. Bye bye. God bless.
All right. Man, old boy was in the call. I think I was too concentrated. That was really, really good questions from Jan Food. Thank you for calling. I appreciate the questions. I think I like these questions that put pressure. And Jan Food was very clear in his questions and was very respectful. That always helped to have a great conversation. I think there was value in that conversation. It is interesting that automatically it brought us to Israel and Palestine. Wow. So I think I would like to point out that pretty much all my answers didn't include a God. And I think somehow, probably, they made sense. I'm talking about my answers. Old boy was saying on the chat, yes, this question applies so well to yesterday's conversation. Yes, old boy. I actually decided to include it in this live stream because Diva sent me a video this morning that I watched entirely. Diva, if you're listening, I watched the entire video and gave me the idea to have this title for the tonight's live stream. Charles Oliver, clears waters. There's someone in chat attempting to misbehave. Do you have a moderator? I don't. If you don't mind, Charles Oliver, who are you referring to? Who is the... Because normally people that join the live stream are very respectful. Normally. So I don't know who is behaving naughty. Edinburgh Empire, Jesus Christ, our glorious Lord and Savior. Okay, Edinburgh is just preaching. Glorious Maximus has existed. Bobby, Charles, big W for reason for ruining his chance. Daniel, Danny, at reason. Go read Genesis, is right there, friend. Diva, don't play. The universe cannot be eternal because the time now wouldn't exist. What? Diva, are you serious? Hey, is that Tony?
Yes, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Tony?
I'm all right. I see you got a new slide today,
Yes.
and it says, um,
Did you watch
it
the
says,
video also? The video from Ray Comfort that I show on the...
no, I actually just got online. I actually
Okay.
just got on. Yeah. I see it says either it says God or hold on, let me look at it really quick.
Is it either God or life doesn't make sense?
Right, yeah, that's okay, yeah. Yeah, I feel like God gives you purpose. God gives you, you know, he shows you the way, he guides you, he brightens that light up and he shows you exactly what or who you are, or that's it. I mean, we all have free will. So, you know what I mean? So, but from being from him being creator, it's definitely God, because life has to have some type of meaning to it. Don't you agree?
No, I don't agree.
So life doesn't have meaning.
I think
This is crazy, Clearwater. There's certain things that you say sometimes, brother, are kind of just kind of different, you know. And for you now, you're sitting here telling me that life has no meaning. Well, first you tell me you're not a sinner, that you don't sin, that you're not a sinner, and then two, now you're saying that life has no meaning. This
I
seems like a complete rage bait for the people, for the viewers, or for the people. But go ahead, go ahead.
I think that before coming to that conclusion, probably you could hear what I have to say about it.
Okay.
It is my point of view that for some reason we are able to understand what could be of value to us. That's why yesterday I put in the live stream that we go towards what we perceive as valuable. And through that process, we find value in things, people, and animals, not necessarily because of a God.
What do you mean? What do you wait? What do you mean by that exactly?
Yeah, for some reason, this thing that we have inside of us or go through us, this energy that we call feel, point us to what we perceive as valuable in life.
You said life has no meaning.
It's not that it has no meaning coming from a God. That's what I'm trying to say. For some reason, for myself, it has meaning because of the lenses of my feelings.
I mean, I respect your opinion and your outlook on certain things. I understand that part of it. But you literally just told me life has no meaning. And that's absurd. But that's your opinion. That's your free will to look at life how you want to look at it as. You know what I mean?
Yes. And say with you, no, you have your own way of thinking. Is your if your
Yeah,
is your go
I
ahead.
think that everybody has a purpose. I think God created us for a reason. You know what I mean? It's his beautiful creation, and what we want to do with our lives, our free will. We could try our best, you know, to figure out everything, but you know, the ultimate answers truly belong to the Most High God. But if you say life has no meaning and you're not a sinner, you're not even could admit that you sin or you are a sinner, and your life has no meaning, that's on you. That's on you. But I want to say that you're a good guy, you're a good, respectable person. I still can't fault you for your beliefs. But you know, there is going to be a judgment day. But that's from my beliefs, in my opinion. You know, I'm a firm believer, and that's it. I just wanted to call in really quick and see how this new slide was, because I seen it was kind of awkward. But
Did you hear the
I know.
conversation with the previous caller?
Go ahead. No, I literally just got online. I haven't been on for that long.
That was an interesting conversation with the previous caller. He was asking very tough questions, and hopefully answer some of his questions. But I think it's worth to hear it because he's a believer, and he was asking very good questions. But anyways, you also ask good questions and you have good points of view and
All
good
right.
conversations.
All right, Clearwaters. I'll call back.
All right, thank you, Tony.
All right, right.
That was Tony Montana, a frequent caller. Always welcome him calling in. Hey, old boy.
Hey, Clearwaters. I do have a question for you just to understand if you don't mind sharing your opinion. Do you mind
Sure.
sharing like your opinion of like, I am just curious to know what you think. Like it came up yesterday with Diva and Tony pointed it out. Like Christians, when they hear someone doesn't believe in a God, they wonder how, and it's what your question's all about today. Like, how could there be some sort of like meaning, intrinsic meaning? Do you think so? You just said, I don't think you said like clearly what one way or the other, but sorry, I'm getting to the question. Just do you think there is? You don't think there is some sort of morality that exists like objectively in some form, whether that is like could be a creator, or are you open to that idea that it could be
I really doubt it. I don't
some sort of
think.
intrinsic thing?
Yeah, I really doubt it. I don't think there's like a
Okay.
universal morality. No, it seems to me that we come with some pre-programs that allow us to relate or to understand understand what is valuable, and we find value,
And
for example, like when we're going to fall, we find value in protecting us. That's why we have this reaction from babies. We have these pre-programs. So I think that we finding value in our life because we're supposed to be doing something. Life is trying to keep us alive. So we come with this pre-program to maintain life. What some people could define as something that it has to do with morality.
Okay. It's kind of related. I have another question, if you don't mind. Do
Sure.
you mind that I'm just asking you questions, or?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. I am just curious what you think of because evolution has come up, and I think you've said before like you don't necessarily buy the theory of evolution, or I don't know. You tell me. I'm just curious what you think of the theory of evolution, the scientific theory of evolution.
No, I don't contemplate it too much because it doesn't have a conclusion.
Like a normal person.
Yeah, like a normal person. It's not going to change my normal day.
Right. Okay. And that's kind of how I feel. I do find science fascinating. So, when I find time in my day-to-day life, I do like to see what some recent findings are, or deepen my already existing knowledge of like, what I learned in grade school about the scientific process. But I wanted to make a point of clarity with that first caller. He was asking good question. I didn't want to interrupt, but I think too there's something interesting about how and it's not just Christians. I'm just more familiar with Christianity, much like you, so I use that as an example. But I'm just curious to know if a Christian could even consider your idea, because like this is what I was getting at with Diva yesterday. Is I think the conversation's good for viewers, like for someone outside to watch and make of what we're talking about here and what questions you're posing.
Yeah.
And I think there's value in that. So not like, you're going to change a caller's mind or a caller's going to change your mind, but I would, I'm always just curious if a Christian could actually perceive what you're even talking about here. I think like the belief in a God inhibits them from being able to wrap their mind around like the simple concept you're pointing out, the simple observation you're making. And I'm
Yes.
only saying that because I really find it fascinating, just because myself personally, I used to be a Christian, so that's how I would have reacted. You know what I mean? How I see Christians reacting. That's very well what I would have been saying to you in this live stream. But
One
yeah,
of the
I'm just curious what you think of that.
one of the reasons that I try to avoid engaging in debates is because I try to understand what is behind the debate, and we're really talking about people's feelings in a debate.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a believer in one of these gods, I understand that I'm not going to convince that person. Most likely, I'm not, because I don't have anything that looks like valuable to the person that provides more value emotionally that the God that they believe is real and loving and is waiting for them at the end of the road. So I will have to
Right.
provide something more valuable emotionally to them in order for them to consider changing their mind. And you know, old boy Diva sent me some messages this morning through the day on one of my videos, and he also sent me a link to a video that I watched completely. It was a video with Mr. Cliff. I can pronounce his last name, Resch. He's very well known Christian. And
Say the name again. Maybe I know him. I don't know.
his name is Cliff Netchell.
Okay. It doesn't ring any bells, but sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Cliff Netchell. If you see it, probably you recognize him. He's very famous. But I found it interesting that he was preaching in like a college, and there was one guy that was talking to him, and this guy, everything pretty much that he said is what you were telling Diva yesterday. And in this case, in this
Right.
video, Mr. Cliff is not taking it, but this guy is very, very down to earth and trying to bring him back to reality, but he doesn't
And
want
that's
anything to do
that's
with
how I
it.
feel sometimes.
That just to
And I'm
finish,
willing to suspend.
although just
go
to
ahead.
finish, that
Yeah, sorry.
video was a reflection of the conversation that we were having yesterday with Diva, coincidentally.
And I mean, then that's it's clear why he sent it. You know, he was thinking about that same question. And so yeah, I just wanted to know if you thought, like, because I understand, like, I don't get me wrong, like, I know you're not here to change anyone's mind. I know you're here with an idea, and you want people to poke holes in the idea, right? You want people
Yes.
to play with the concept that you're observing here.
Yes. Exactly.
No, I wish I had some sort of rebuttal, but everything you say makes perfect sense to me. That's what's so attractive about your channel too, is I don't want you to feel like I'm always it maybe too engaged, but no, it's just kind of inspiring for me to hear, and refreshing, because you know, early on when I left my religious beliefs, I it can be lonely, and I've heard you talk about this, that like it.
Yes.
And not only that, but amongst non-believers, they have all sorts of ideas of the way things are, right? And I don't always buy what they're selling. You know what I mean? So I feel like you're very attractive in the sense that your idea is very bare bones, and it doesn't take much to understand and to see it for myself. You know, so no, I'll just finish by saying I appreciate what you're doing here. Like, I think it's really valuable, and I'll keep watching. I don't know if I have anything like useful to add here. But
No, man, I appreciated you saying these things and pointing them out. I appreciate you being on the live streams and giving your points of view and your opinions. I think they're very accurate. And in the case of this information that I'm presenting, I think that at least the believers, or probably also unbelievers, at least would see debate differently, because once you understand what the two debaters are trying to do, which debates feelings in reality, everything
Right.
changes. That's why I'm not saying that I'm not going to debate anybody, but I'm moving away from that because I know that you cannot debate the feelings with someone. In the case, I'm not saying the case of Diva. I think Diva is a very smart person. He speaks very eloquently, but it seems to me I have to agree with you that we're not gonna be able to get to him because he's very emotionally invested in the God. From
Right.
my point of
And I
view,
relate. That's the thing. If I ever get a little frustrated, with Diva or whatever,
like
it's because
yesterday.
I'm like I see myself so much in religious people, because I'm used to be a very religious person. So
We were, me too.
yeah, yeah. And so I just really relate. I really relate. And Diva's chill. I know where he's coming from. So
You know, I'm
but
surprised. I'm surprised with Diva when he speaks, man. He sounds very like awake, like very smart person. It's hard for me to believe. Sometimes I think he's trolling us.
that's what I wonder. Yeah, I'm like, this guy can't be real. But no, he is smart. Like, yeah, he knows. Yet he still has his belief in God. So
Very
I
strongly.
have to respect it. I can't change his mind. Nor do I try.
Right, right, right. All right, old boy. Thank you so much
Yeah, thank you.
for being here and for the conversation. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
That was old boy, old boy. Um, Giving a call, having a good conversation. I think old boy um, is also for me very smart. I think he's connecting the dots, and not now, from before, starting to see some problematic with the beliefs in gods. Thank you, old boy, for that call. Appreciate it, and you welcome to call anytime. Javier Soto is on the horizontal. I don't understand the question. Is it God or nihilism? Seems like a false dichotomy if that is the case. Javier Soto also writes, meaning is inherent to all things. Things have meaning as in they have an essence that distinguishes them from everything else. Interesting. Excuse me. So Diva is going at it with other viewers. Oh, Javier Soto, you moved to the vertical stream. Hell doesn't exist. Diva, don't play Javier because I have the truth. Diva, we have said before, we have talked about the truth. Your truth is not someone else's truth unless you can prove somehow that your truth is the truth. Bobby, Diva, because you're nuts. Nah, come on, Bobby. Diva is not nuts. He's convinced of something, but it's very hard for him to convince other people of what he believes. Charles Oliver, speaking nonsense eloquently doesn't make it anything more than what it is. I know that is not a joke, but it makes me laugh. Because, yeah, that could be true. Daniel Denny, at Reason, your vocabulary is bigger than the try harder. So it's not 2026 everywhere in the world. Diva, don't play. Give me the more reliable or better option than faith in Jesus Christ. Diva Don't Play, you can ask that question to someone that needs a God in their life, someone that is in need of a God, or someone that believes in another God. But how are you going to ask that question to someone that doesn't believe what you believe or is interested in believing in a God? One of these gods available right now. Because some gods are fading away, like Zeus and other gods. Charles Oliver, dishonesty cloaked in eloquence is even more deceiving. I have to agree. Look at the way Ray Comfort speaks. He speaks very nicely, but in my point of view, in my opinion, very dishonestly. Javier Soto, what's up, Tocayo? What's up? What's up, Javi? Diva Don't Play is asking someone, show me the evidence that there's a better God than the God that he believes is real. Garius Maximus, believing in anything is an equivalent option. Wow. Because it's believing. Javier Soto, truth is objective. It is the same from all perspectives. What could be a truth? Diva Don't Play, Javier, when you have the truth, falsehoods become super easy to detect. What is this truth that you speak about, and why most people don't agree with you that your truth is everybody else's truth? People that believe in other gods don't believe that your truth is the truth. Very problematic. Because I think truth is universal. Seems to me, if something was the truth, man, I cannot read some of these messages, man. That is some funny stuff. Diva Don't Play, Javier, nobody can make you believe in something that is true. I would say give me the evidence. Nobody can make you believe something that is true. But Diva, you know, what is truth for you? Can you put it like in one sentence? What is your truth? You keep talking about this truth. Can you put it in one sentence? Diva Don't Play, no better, but what is actually more true? Reason 1024, Diva, you cannot even prove yours to be true. Not prove, not demonstrate. Charles Oliver, remember theology and reason? Diva Don't Play, truth is objective, no matter how many people believe that is not true. Diva Don't Play, if you don't mind, can you write what do you mean by truth? Truth in reference to what? Javier Soto, evidence that does not yield certainty, only likelihood. Truth is discerned from falsification and from deduction. Whoa, Javier Soto. Let me read that again. Evidence does not yield certainty, only likelihood. Truth is discerned from falsification and from deduction. Wow. Oh boy, oh boy. Bobby is asking, Diva, how is this objective? Diva Don't Play response, show me anything that is specifically more historical reliable than the four Gospels are, which describes Jesus Christ as being God himself. I think that the part that is secondhand testimonies and basically, in conclusion, what other people are telling you through a book, I find it quite hard to call this truth, because it could be extremely corrupted. Bobby got goosebumps. Let's move. Oh, what am I doing here? Live stream. Oh, for some reason it's picking up just one. Let me see. Reset transform. Oh, so it's picking up the horizontal. Okay. So I cannot put the vertical. All right, that's it. That's all right. So let's go back to our main page. Just fixing something here. That's better. Oops. Oh, what did I do? Breaking things. That's why I don't like to move things around when I'm on a live stream. I just broke something. I'm not going to touch it anymore. Old boy saying truth is overrated. Man, people use it like, I don't know, too easily. Reason at Diva. I read a Clark Gable biography that was statistically more accurate than the Bible. Diva Don't Play. Okay, so what's more reliable then? Give me this better option. More reliable than. More reliable to prove a God. So you have some information that makes it 40% reliable, but because you cannot find anything more reliable, the 40% reliability is reliable enough for you? Is that what you're saying, Diva? Let me rephrase this or repeat it. You find that the Bible provides you with 40% reliability in proving God. And because you cannot find anything that provides higher than 40% reliability, you think that 40% is reliable enough for you to believe that the God of the Bible is real. This is the part that I don't understand about you calling something truth or reliable. That could explain why, Diva, most people don't believe. Imagine your eternal life or eternal suffering is dependent on you believing on something that is 40% reliable. You have to depend on what someone else is telling you through a book from 2,000 years ago. So your eternal suffering is based on that information and your acceptability in that 40% or 50% reliable information. That is screwed up. Bobby's asking Diva, how is it reliable at all? Diva, don't play. Javier, you don't even have any beliefs. So theoretically, you cannot even refute anyone who is a theist. You know, I don't know, Diva, if you were participating or you were here in the live stream where I had the call with the person that called at the beginning. He was asking me questions that could probably force a God to be included in the answer, and I answered all his questions without a God. You can explain a lot of things about life without a God. I do believe in something. I do believe that we have to understand more about us human beings and stop focusing on the invisible gods. There, I believe something. Glorious Maximus. Man, what a name. Sounds cool. Glorious Maximus. Adiba. Still waiting for you to explain how it's morally good for an infallible, loving God to provide a virginity test that's around 50% accurate for us to justify executing virgins. Whoa, it's a tough one. Diva don't play at Bobby. Do have any test to know if any historical documents are accurate and reliable? What are your tests? Bobby's asking Diva, what about the Bible's historicity makes God true? Diva is asking Bobby, answer my question, yes or no. Bobby responds, Diva, I don't have to. You have to prove your claim that God is real. Diva, don't play at Bobby. You won't expect anything from history. But from a God, it has to be accurate information in my point of view. Oh boy, writes Diva. Diva uses truth in at least 2 different ways in one sentence. I don't think he has a definition. Probably that's why I'm asking him what he is talking about when he refers to truth. I don't think I have read his answer yet. Charles Oliver, Diva, when was Jesus born on? Reign of Herod the Great or census of Quirinius? Wow, pick one. Can't have both. Herod died 4 BC, 1 BC. Quirinius census 6 AD. Wow. Bobby Adiba, what a pivot. What about Bible's historicity proof that God exists? Reason at Bobby, but people and places exist. Therefore, some be Jesus and God. Diva writes, creation and your conscious prove God exists. Wow, Diva, how? How? I don't get it, man. Sometimes I think I'm missing something when you give this, like, I don't know, like 100% answers that I don't see the connections. Am I missing something? Bobby at reason, New York exists, so Spider-Man is real. I think that's how some people come to the conclusion that Jesus was real or God is real. Very sadly. Diva don't play creation and conscious. Reason, Diva, you should answer Charles Oliver. Sign Jab. And Sign Jab erased his messages. Diva, don't play. I get proof Jesus Christ is God. Jesus said that because they hate him, we true Christians will also be hated. Praise you, Lord Jesus. Diva, don't play. I don't think anybody's hating you. People are asking questions. Asking questions doesn't mean that someone hates you. But it seems to me you're picking up this from the book, from something that Jesus said, but not really just asking questions, trying to understand why you're trying to communicate, but people are not convinced from what you're telling them. I think you have to probably find better ways to, I don't know, if your intent is to try to convince someone that God is real and Jesus was God, I think the ways that you're using are not convincing anyone. I haven't seen anyone convinced by this supposed evidence and proof you're providing. I'm just being transparent and honest. The brainless one. Hello, I'm tired of people claiming something without knowing full well what it is. Reason at Diva, your victim complex is hilarious. Diva, don't play, take a poll. A poll about what? Hersey 98, amen, Diva. The brainless one, what's a poll going to do? Diva, don't play it, atheists hate us 100%. I don't think so. And I don't think I have seen evidence of that. It seems to me that people that don't believe in a God, probably they just want to get away from anybody trying to push their God into them, pushing a God to their face. So it seems to me that some believers can be more aggressive towards unbelievers, in my point of view. The brainless one, if that were the case, you would be hanging from a street light. Whoa. Reason at Diva, I don't hate you. I pity you. Hersey 98 writes, the fact that they have to disprove a God shows that there's a God. Not really. I don't think anybody's claiming anything. Seems to me. I think that the claims come from a supernatural God that nobody can see. That sounds suspicious to me. Diva, don't play, no excuses on Judgment Day. What's gonna happen on Judgment Day? Violence is gonna happen? Because it seems to me that when someone is sent to hell, there's gonna be pain. So we had to pay for the painful day in order to learn our lesson that we should have believed in the God based on secondhand testimonies from 2,000 years ago that was reading on a book that has been edited. That sounds to me very barbaric. And there's no lesson to learn here when you're sent to hell. What lesson are you going to learn? Nothing. Very barbaric. Reason, more fear mongering. Diva, don't play. Javier, read the chat. I know I'm doing good. Diva, don't play. You're doing what you're doing, my friend. What I'm reading is people asking questions, people expressing their views, but nobody really attacking you or exciting violence or, no, I don't see any evidence of that. Saint Jab, you all are atheists or secular. Diva, don't play. Nobody even bothers Allah. Viva, Allah is the same exact thing. People believe in Allah because of emotional reasons. There's nothing else. Nobody has seen Allah. It's just basically people believing. That's it. Believing what a book says. Because of the emotional value that we perceive coming from this book. Excuse me. Old boy says that I love Diva. You see, Diva? People in the chat love you. Old boy loves you. Bobby at Diva because he split the moon in two. I don't with actual real gods. You know, Diva, don't play. Diva, my conversations with Muslims has been very invaluable. Nothing of value in those conversations. In my point of view, absolutely none. Just a book, information on a book, and people finding emotional value in the information, and that's it. Not even close to a God. Diva, don't play because atheists even know Islam is fake. You know, I cannot talk for atheists, but in my point of view, Islam and Christianity sounds to me both are fake or man-made. Diva, don't play. Poor Allah is always forgotten. Reason saying sign up. Yes, I'm an atheist. Reason is asking Diva, why would we discuss Islam with Christians? Yeah, I have done live streams talking about Allah, talking about the Quran, and not much to talk about because not many Muslims joined the live stream. I don't know why. Diva, don't play. I never said violence. I said hate. No, but not hate either. You come strong, Diva, with your beliefs. I think it's naturally for people to push back. Exactly because he doesn't exist. Charles Oliver at Diva, did anyone ascend into heaven except the one who came from heaven? The Hebrew scriptures disagree with Jesus. Let me read that again from Charles Oliver. Did anyone ascend into heaven except the one who came from heaven? The Hebrew scriptures disagree with Jesus. Diva writes, the Bible says nobody has come down from heaven. The devil didn't come down from heaven? Just asking. The brainless one. So how could your God be part man, part God? Reason writes, I like how Diva uses Islam as a way to escape the Christian God conversation. Oh man, Hey, Dominic, praise be the insert random god. um, oh man, that was funny. Man, Dominic, that was funny. Praise be to insert random god. Oh man, that's a good one. It made me laugh. Diva don't play fully god and fully man, not part. Bobby at Diva 100% plus 100% equals 100%. Javier Soto at Diva needs to learn math. Yeah, fully God and fully man. People are questioning how is that possible. Hersey 98, clear waters, one day your knee will bow and I will learn my lesson. You know, Hersey 98, sometimes, I bow. But just to relax or to think or to concentrate. But Hersey 98, I would understand that your knee will bow. You do this because probably you're fearful of the God. That's understandable. God is very violent. So you need to demonstrate reverence to the God, otherwise you could pay the price. Diva writes, the hate I get actually strengthens my faith. It means I'm doing what's right. I think mostly, Diva, people ask you questions, and when you say something that sounds inaccurate, sounds made up, sounds like it's your belief, and you try to present it like it is a fact, people are going to comment, people are going to push back, people are going to make fun, people are not going to take it seriously. I think it's my point of view. Charles Oliver writes, John 3:13, at Diva don't play, you are dishonest or mistaken. Saint Jab, hey Saint Jab, are you a believer? Saint Jab writes at reason, yeah, he doesn't give an answer because he knows how to run. 8-1, Diva, the Bible said no one has ascended to heaven but he who descended. You forgot the ascended part. Bobby at her say, genuflect, you peasants. Javier Soto, that's called cope, Diva. Amos 1, hey Javier, yo Chad. Hello Diva, hello Amos 1. Diva writes, I mean come down from heaven and then ascend back to heaven. Okay. Amos 1, Diva, that's not what it says. No one has ascended to heaven, but he who has descended doesn't mean they came down and back up. Bobby's correcting Diva, you meant ascend? Diva writes, there'll be no laughing if you die without possessing the Holy Spirit. It'd be crying and gnashing of teeth. Diva, this reminds me of Manny Pacquiao describing how God showed him heaven and hell. Probably you can go see that video that I made, that reaction video. Manny Pacquiao, according to Manny Pacquiao, God showed him hell. And when someone asked him, what did you see in hell? He said that he saw people going, rawr, 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 you know. Probably this is what you're describing. When the person asked Manny Pacquiao, can you describe heaven? He didn't. That's when I concluded that he was making that up. Hersey 98, laughing out loud, stop thinking you know how I feel. It's far from fear, man. Yeah, probably terrified. You don't like pain. That's understandable. You're a human being. You're trying to avoid pain. You know, you love the God. Yeah, sure. You're just trying to avoid pain. It's hard to convince anyone, Hersey 98, that you're not trying to avoid pain. You don't want to go to hell. You're smart, man. You're like, yeah, God, I love you. Yes, I love the God. The Holy Spirit is in me. I'm saved. Look at me. I'm saved. You just don't want to be tortured for eternity. Charles Oliver at Reason. Interesting how they show up when things get hot too. Amos 1, Diva, thinking weird don't mean words, is more what it sounds like. Bobby, we're definitely going to make fun. Reason, I'm about to start a fear mongering counter for Diva. That'll be interesting to see what's gonna be the counter. Diva, don't play. Someone please prove atheism is true. Seems to me, Diva, that you're jumping from towers, to jumping from one tower to the other, or looking from one tower, looking at other towers to see which one is higher than yours. And you only want to talk about towers. You don't want to talk about anything else. Which tower is bigger? You don't want to talk about how the towers came to be. You don't want to talk about the base of the towers. You don't want to talk about how the towers are maintained. Which tower is the tallest? And yours is the tallest one. Who can demonstrate to you which other tower is as tall as yours? You're taking a big chunk of information, Diva, and you're taking it out of the equation just to accommodate the God. I think, Diva, that people are going to see what you're doing, see and understand what you're doing. And I think people, at least in this live stream, some people have tried to tell you, I think that you are making a mistake by bypassing a lot of information that you don't seem to be interested. TXDAP 786, remember, we all have to die. God give us the choice to either accept or reject him. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, blah, 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 blah. Why not choose God and leave? Or not choose God and pay the price? That is brutality, TXDAP. That options don't come from a loving God. That comes from a brutal manipulator. And most people are starting to see the brutality of this God. Most people don't want to even get close to the God. Wow, messages are going fast. Diva, don't play. At least if that happens to you, will you at least then know how much I love you enough to warm you? Diva, don't play. You know, we're getting into the feelings part. It seems to me that you are okay now to go to the feelings part when it comes to fear. Oh boy, Diva, you have already demonstrated you don't use evidence to come to your beliefs. Yep, Hersey 98, Clear Waters, do you believe Christians never experience pain? No, you have never experienced pain like the eternal torture pain. No, you haven't. Diva, don't play. Bobby, you go to hell because you have committed thousands and thousands of evil acts. I think you can commit evil acts and still go to heaven because you only need to accept Jesus into your heart and repent from your sins. That's why people say that heaven is full of bad people and hell is full of good people. Amos 1, Diva, nah, hell is made up like your God. Recent fear mongering from Diva number 5. Saint Jab, Diva, you're not God, you cannot decide. Hersey 98, even Jesus Christ experienced pain. Yeah, but we go back to you not experiencing eternal condemnation, eternal pain. But you don't want to even try it. So let's pretend that we love the God. Even though we don't know what we're going to be doing for eternity in heaven, I just want to avoid pain. Oh boy, you just made that up, Diva. Oh boy, find anyone who agrees with that definition, please. Diva, Saint Jab, I cannot declare what God has already revealed to us about his judgment. Oh boy, no one agrees with that definition of truth. Amos 1, a Diva, his judgments that give infinite punishment for finite crimes. Got it. Yeah, that seems to me very barbaric. Oh boy, to Diva, you just made that up. Diva, right at Amos 1, crimes against an infinite God deserve an infinite punishment, right? Wow. From everything that you have written tonight, Diva, I think that's the most awkward one. I don't agree with infinite punishment. I don't think there's a lesson learned there. I don't think there's nothing of value. It's just pain and that's it. Just for not believing that the God is real. I don't know what is in God that he wants people to believe. What for? It seems that God is missing something in his life and he wants you to believe. If you don't believe, you pay the price. You pay the optimum price, eternal punishment. And Diva, don't play. Somehow, man, somehow, you think that that's good. Whoa. No hating you, okay? But that's incredible that you think that that is okay. Wow. Amos 1 is asking Diva, so a finite being can hurt an infinite all-powerful being? Oh boy, poor reasoning. Absolutely poor. Amos 1 is also asking, also can a finite being commit a crime that is infinite in size? That sounds like a contradiction. Hersey 98. Sin cannot be present in heaven, clear waters. Please read the Bible before making assumptions. Sin cannot be present in heaven, clear waters. And goodness cannot be in hell. So, going to heaven does require to be good, and going to hell to be bad. So this thing about accepting Jesus into your heart and repenting from your sins is no longer what gets you to heaven. Now you have to be good and or bad to get you to hell. Seems you're making stuff up, Hersey 98. That's not what the Bible says. Yeah, that comparison that Diva is making about a classmate or the president when it comes to a God, it seems to me that it's not a very good example of comparison. Deuce 729, heaven isn't full of good people. It's full of redeemed people, no? Heaven is full of bad people because goodness doesn't take you to heaven. Reason, heaven isn't real, so Amos 1, Diva, you tried that poor comparison before. Hersey 98, laughing out loud, clear water, stop your making a fool of yourself. Hersey 98, I'll ask you the same thing, please stop making a fool of yourself, trying to pretend that you love a God and you're just trying to avoid being destroyed like a cockroach in a barbecue. Diva, don't play. Amos 1, I'm showing that the punishment for the same crime would be different because of the difference of the object. The crime is against right. Diva, don't play. You know, for me, what you're saying is that you are in agreement with violence against human beings just for not believing. What a horrible game. Daniel Denny, Adueduek, exactly, it's only the redemption offered through Jesus that gets us into heaven. Amos 1, Diva, you're making a comparison of the president to an all-powerful, all-knowing being. Try again. I agree with Amos 1. Diva, don't play. At Amos, I'm showing you the crime against infinite God deserves an infinite punishment. Deal with it. That Diva, don't play. That comment right there is why most people don't believe in the God that you believe in. I think you have to come up with a better thing than agreeing with violence against humanity, from a bully God. This is one of those things that people are gonna push back on you and probably laugh at what you are agreeing, because it seems to me that you're agreeing with violence against humanity from an invisible God. Amos 1, Diva, you are showing a poor comparison from an all-powerful being we cannot hurt to a human. Oh boy, Amos, I couldn't say it better. Javier Soto, if sin is not present in heaven, how did Lockyer become prideful? Amos 1, old boy, he's still with Dutch around. Reason 1024 at Amos 1, but we are hurting God's feelings. Hersey 98, Clearwater, God is not making you serve Him. He gave us free will. Choose to follow Him and live forever with Him, or choose to follow the world and apart from Him. Your choice, man. I choose not to believe that a character in a book named God is real. But like a ex-girlfriend of mine used to tell me, whatever pickles your tickle. If the idea of a loving God that you pick up from a book and that you learn from a book makes you happy, man, suit yourself. I'm not interested in fooling myself, lying to myself anymore. I used to be a believer. I'm not going back there anymore, my friend. Bobby writes, don't tell people to read the Bible. You're going to make more atheists. Ooh, man, that Bobby, that comment, yes. People start reading the Bible by themselves, like really reading it, honestly, man, yes. They're gonna go like, man, something is wrong with this crazy God. Diva, don't play. I think I missed a message that I wanted to read. Diva writes, if God doesn't punish evil, then we could say that God is not all good, right? You're calling people evil. You're calling God's creation evil. So that makes no sense. That's one of those things that make no sense. Another thing that makes no sense to me, Diva. Verse 98, would you like to have a scripture reading live, Clearwater? We could go, well, messages are going a little bit too fast. Verse 98, would you like to have a scripture reading live, Clearwater? We could go over scriptures. No, Hersey 98, I am not interested in reading the scriptures anymore, more than the reading that I did when I own my own Bible and I read the Bible myself. No, thank you. I'm not buying what you're selling. You need a God in your life. Suit yourself. I don't need the God of the Bible in my life. I'm not into violence. I'm not into brutality. No, thank you. I don't know why you sound like a good human being. I don't know why you're in favor of a bully God that brutalizes humanity. No, just because they don't believe. They don't love me. They're God and Lord and Savior. They don't believe in me. They're going to be punished. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever why anybody in the year 2026 will believe this crappy information from this book. I don't understand it. Well, maybe the emotional rewards explains it. Reason 1024, a diva is using bears to kill kids for making fun of a bald guy. Good. Yes. Diva, don't play. No, I'm for cosmic justice and for the destroying of all evil. What's wrong with that? You are okay with destruction. You are okay calling stuff evil that you don't know that they're evil. And I think everything is wrong with that, Diva. That you're okay with violence. You don't consider about how about God talks to the people that don't believe in him. Hey, why do you don't believe in me? Look at me, I'm here. Oh, you believe now? Okay, everybody, let's go to heaven. No, he wants to destroy someone. Come on, Diva, come on. I cannot. I think sometimes you're trolling us, man. Like I told, oh boy, you're trolling us. I cannot understand how you believe this crap. This information is crap. Poo-poo caca. Why are you okay with violence? I don't get it. Just because you're getting a good feeling from God, oh my God, my Lord and Savior, you're gonna kill people? Why, man? This is awful. Don't get it. Hersey 98, Clearwaters, you say stuff about the Bible that is nowhere to be found in the Bible. Hersey 98, I'm more interested in talking about the human being, what we're doing in this earth, where we come from. The invisible gods are not explaining this stuff. It's not explaining humanity. Amos 1, follow God and God to heaven or get infinite punishment. Sounds like an all-loving being for sure. For sure, Amos 1 sounds like a very loving. Punch you in the face in a loving way. Oh boy, whatever pickles your tickle. Oh boy. Saying Jab, reason you don't believe in God, then why you care about hurting him? Diva, don't play at Amos. Wouldn't a loving God punish evil and destroy it forever at the end? No, Diva, I think there are other options. How about God fixes evil or talks to people about how about believing in Him, but going the brutal way of burning them for eternity? Come on, man. That's not a loving God. I don't understand how anybody can call the brutal God, violent God, not so smart God, loving. Wow. Amos 1, Diva, you use labels like true reality when you don't understand them and just make them up. Keep it up. It's always funny to see. Amos 1, Diva, an all-loving God punishes over forgiving. Sounds like He isn't all-loving at all. Absolutely agree with Amos 1. Charles Oliver, Hersey 98, in the book of Job, when Satan attended the council of God's angels, was he a sinner? Reason, a Diva jumps around more than an ADHD kid chugging Red Bull. Diva at Amos, God will forgive anyone who repents and trusts in Jesus Christ for their salvation. It's not God's fault if you reject His free pardon. I think it's fully God's fault that He created this crappy plan of destroying humans for not loving and accepting Him. It sounds to me like a made up God. Some human made this horrible soap opera about this God, and people in 2000 years later still believe this crappy information. Hersey 98, what happened in your life, Clear Waters, that made you hate Him? I don't hate a character in a book. How can you hate a character in a book? That doesn't make sense at all. Hersey 98, Diva, stop trolling Clear Waters and the atheists. Let them find out on their own. Let them find out how brutal God can be on their own. Hersey 98, we're gonna leave you to find out for yourself that there's nothing. Oh boy, they don't preach about some of the most violent parts in church. You have to read it for yourself. Exactly, oh boy, and that's how I find out when I started reading the Bible myself, that there was a bunch of stuff that was not being read at church. Amos 1, Hersey, if you think he's trolling, you are a little mine. AP, persona non grata. Okay. Diva, don't play it. Amos, you already know God is real. I don't care what you claim. Amos 1, Diva, cool assumption. By that line, you know Odin is real. Stop denying Him, sad boy. Reason, Diva, you know God isn't real. Persona non grata, a Diva, you already know that Loki and Thor are real. Man, people are using your same logic. Back to you. Dominic, praise Odin. Yeah, this feels right. Bobby, Diva, you're going to spend your life preaching for God that doesn't exist, just for us to be sharing a grave when everything goes dark. Ooh. Amos 1, Jesus was a carpenter that got taken out by wooden nails, while Thor brings the hammer. Diva, right, Amos, none of your little points will change this true reality. You're just fooling yourself. Hersey 98, he gave you another chance. He could have destroyed the whole human race when Adam and Eve sinned, but He didn't. He gave us another chance to choose Him by sending His Son, Jesus Christ. Verse 98, that sounds very romantic, but the reality of the subject is that God is violent. So when people were not loving him and paying attention to him, he decided to destroy humanity. And then when the second wave of humans came around, he noticed that they were doing the same thing. So he wanted to do the Great Flood 2.0. But he's like, you know what? People are going to start to understand that I'm violent. Every time I get upset, I wipe them all. Men, women, and children, kill them all. So I better come up with another plan. How about I destroy my only son, Jesus, in a human sacrifice to demonstrate love for humanity? So the best thing that God came up with is to have an act of brutality, an act of violence. That's where people more and more are coming to understand that this God of the Bible is a psychopath or acts like a psychopath. Romans 1, I wonder at what point you have walked so far away from God you can no longer hear the small voice inviting you to return. Do you think you're there? You seem to have no interest in spiritual things. I am not interested in a brutal, violent God from a character in a book. No, thank you. I'm more interested in having conversations about us human beings. God is not fixing the problems in the Middle East. I think he's making it worse. Diva, God is patient, not wanting anyone to perish, but that all will repent. Diva, don't play. That's absolutely and totally what you believe. You're going to believe in very romantic ways about the God that you believe is real and loving. But people that are honest and transparent and about life can very clearly see that this God is very violent and brutal and seems to be not very smart, always choosing to go the violent way. Romans 1, you're doing a wonderful job of assaulting God's character. I'm certain Satan is pleased with you. Romans 1, sometimes I think that people that believes in God, they're really working for the devil because they are in favor of a violent God. It seems to me that the God could be the real bad guy in the picture. You know, I'm starting to come to this conclusion. That's why believers seem to be in agreement and okay with a violent God destroying humanity, humans that cannot defend themselves against an all-powerful being. Romans 1, you're either for God or against God. I'm definitely against the God of the Bible. I'm not in favor of brutality. Don't like it. I'm not in favor of violence. You seems to be very okay with it. Oh boy, what is sad about Christianity in particular to me is that it strips the best people in society of the credit they deserve. Anything good comes from God, art, music, and perseverance. Man, that's absolutely accurate. Yes. People thanking God for their operation and not thanking the doctor. Yes. Amos 1, those animals in the flood were sinning hard. Yep, they paid the price too. Oh boy, hard work is worthless unless God allows you to accomplish anything. Absolutely ugly. Yeah, you're summing it very well, oh boy. This is how it works for a believer. Dominic, oh boy, I agree 100%. They call it anti-humanism. Discredit humanity. Yeah, something good is done, it was the God. Something bad was done, it was the evil human. Very silly, very childish, you know. Persona non grata, Romans 1. Your God is your own super ego. Yep. You know, persona non grata, someone that believes in a God, in my point of view, does it because it feels good to them. There's nothing else behind it. Dominic, thanking God for your food when your mother made it for you. Ooh. Reason that, oh boy, first responders and doctors get it too. Definitely yes. Daniel Danny, at reason, you think so? Why you all so mad? I don't get it. You're here for the debate, obviously, yet you peck at each other like angry children with no substance to what you're saying. Oh boy, and farmers grew it. Truckers deliver it. Amos 1, Daniel, not mad, just making jokes about your sky wizard. Just to let you know, we're finishing this live stream in 32 minutes. Hopefully, some of the viewers got to see the presentation at the beginning. TXDAP, I still think that you are on a search. On a search, yes, for something that is not an invisible God. TXDAP, the Roman Catholic Church is not a place to serve the Lord. Neither is Christianity or Quran or Islam. Johnny P1 PI1, only Bible is the word of God. Johnny, that's what you believe. I don't believe what you believe. TXDAP, not everyone has the Christ of the Bible. God does speak to people. Yeah, normally when people tell me that God speaks to them, that reveals something to them or gave him a vision, it's all, everything's made up. Jesus laid down his life for the joy set before him. No, TXDAP, that's what you believe. The reality is that Jesus was brutally murdered in a human sacrifice in order to pacify a God. A horrible God that can only solve things with violence. TXDAP, humans are doing a pretty good job at destroying themselves. Look at World War I, World War II, and all the wars. I think the worst job is done by the gods. They're creating separation, conflict, division. Hersey 98, you don't believe in God, clear waters. How can you make it worse? How could he make it worse? That comment makes no sense. Hersey 98, you know, when I jump from the God and telling you that God is a character in a book, it's just to play your game. You know, if you want to talk like if God is real, I'm going to talk to you like God is real. When I know it's not real, the God of the Bible, I really doubt that it's real. But anything that you said that the God, you make it sound like it's real, I'm going to say something back to you. You know what I mean? Javier Soto writes, God is the meaning of meaning, the reason of reason, the cause of causation, etc. Amos 1, Javier Soto, cool claim. God evidence isn't made up yet. Why, Javier Soto, why presume God is a he? Amos 1, Javier Soto, you must have never read the Bible giving him the label of father. Romans 1, because I understand that we each have a choice. You're going to be held accountable. Romans 1, that's what you believe. I don't believe what you believe, and most people don't believe what you believe. Thankfully. Dominic, right, God only creates evil humans. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? He creates evil humans. Persona non grata writes Christianity, the belief that a God curse us all with imperfection and then blame us for the flaws he forced us to have, and needs a fake sacrifice to forgive all the lucky religion guessers. Wow, that's a very transparent way to put it. Yeah. Oh boy writes, it's not really faith because God talks to you, right? Would you believe if God gave you no signs? That will be 100% faith. Which I don't know why people are looking for evidence. It should be going by faith. Brahmans 1, Christianity understanding that you are a sinner and that sin separates you from a perfect God, and he provides a means for you to live forever by the horrible death of his son. Romans 1, that sounds like a good theme for a movie, or a game or a soap opera. Doesn't sound much like reality. Amos 1, Daniel, you must be low IQ thinking. I don't know. It says that in the Bible. Hersey 98, Clear Waters, you keep saying God made things worse, but yet don't believe in him. I don't know if you heard my answer, that when I refer to God, like it sounds like it being real, I'm just playing your game. If you think that the God of the Bible is real, okay, let's talk if God is real, but then he's violent. He's not very smart. He can only think about violent acts to solve problems that he creates. Man, where the messages went by too fast. Oh boy, it's not really faith because God talks to you, right? Would you believe if God gave no signs? Oh, I read that one already. I'm going down. Oh boy, you just have faith in a book or what someone else told you. Exactly. No God involved. Romans 1, nope, you only have whatever time left to get it right. There's no second chances. No, that's what you believe, Romans 1. Most people are not interested in what you believe. But it seems to me that you're reaping emotional benefits from believing this information, or probably you're just fearful because for some reason you were persuaded to believe that this information is real. Now you're living your life in fear that you're gonna be toasted for eternity and you don't want to have done to you. You don't like pain, so you're running towards pleasure. Amos 1, Daniel, you mean Javier, who asked why I call God a he when he's labeled the Father in the Bible. You don't know who I was asking or why, so don't know why you thought you had a leg in it. Persona non grata at Brahmans 1. My life is not twisted game show with random hidden rules, a random endgame timer, and where the losers get set on fire. Whoa, persona non grata. You put this stuff in a very raw way. Yes, I think that's very accurate. In a raw way, in a raw manner. Yes. Denial. That Daniel Danny, Amos 1, more troll. You have any true conversation? Hersey 98, Clit Waters, did you obey your parents growing up? I don't think so. You don't like submitting to anyone but yourself. That is your opinion, 98. I am here because of how my parents brought me up and listening to them. Actually, my parents were the ones to introduce me to God, the God of the Bible. So you're absolutely incorrect. You are so incorrect about me. You can also be incorrect about the God of the Bible. Or say, I don't know why you are okay with brutality from a God. Why you like violence? I don't understand it. Omar Ali. Just thinking about something. Omar Ali. TX Dab. Keep what you have got and I will keep what I have received. Just keep living. Not all men have faith. Not all men are willing to participate in this salvation game. No, I think most people have better things to do in their lives. In my opinion. Oh boy, I listen to my parents probably more than any kid I know. I did not like disappointing. Same here. Same here, oh boy. Oh boy writes, I would rat on myself. Persona non grata, sending a love emoji. Hersey 98, so you didn't listen to your parents, Clearwater? Of course I did. Right now, they're not interested in any God, not that I know of. So they just went with probably what their parents taught them about God, and they passed it to me, thinking that they were doing something good. I listened to them. I was baptized. I did my first communion. I did the whole thing to believe in the God. I sing the songs at church. I pray, got on my knees, accepted Jesus, repent from my sins. I did the whole thing. Hersey 98. No God. 20 minutes, 20 minutes. Persona non grata, any atheists here have a favorite classic anti-religion YouTube channel? I enjoy Dark Matter 2525. I think I've seen that channel before. And Non-Stamp Collector. I think Dark Matter 2525 have some atheist cartoons if I'm not mistaken. Hersey 98. Why do you sit here talking about God if you have better things to do, Clearwater? Do you have a family or friends? Hersey 98, mostly I'm here to communicate and to express my view that most of the problems that we have in humanity right now come from our ignorance of how we operate as human beings. And that is the reason why, because of our ignorance, that we are led to believe in invisible gods, thinking that they are real. So I'm not really talking about gods. It just happens that, this information relates very closely to beliefs in gods. And people, I don't know why, relates it also with the beliefs in gods. It came naturally. I have made presentations of my live streams with things that have nothing to do with God, and people still take the conversation with a God. I have talked about a new form of government, I have talked about the crash of an airplane of Air India. I have talked about other different subjects. But I still think Hersey 98 that believing in God is a problem for humanity. I think we should take religion and gods out of governments. We should take them out of schools. Churches should pay taxes, in my point of view. We should have classes at school that talks more about us and how we operate in an emotional level. Excuse me. Reason 1024. I like Mike Delahanty's solo stuff. You know, I always enjoy Matt Delahanty's videos. You know, always getting calls and talking to people up to the point. One day when I saw one of his live streams that he was saying that he was in favor of the COVID-19 jabs. And I'm like, what? Matt Delahanty is in favor of the COVID-19, jabs? I'm like, I gotta call, man. And then when I call the Matt Delahanty show, whatever, the lady asked me, okay, what are your pronouns? I'm like, what do you mean, what are my pronouns? What? I don't use pronouns. I don't want to participate in that. I just want to ask Matt Delahanty some questions. He's like, well, if you don't put your pronouns, he's not gonna accept your call. I'm like, okay, put Rico Suave. She's like, what? Please, lady. Those are my pronouns. Rico Suave. She's like, okay. She comes back like 10 seconds later, like, nope, Matt Delahanty decided that he's not going to take your call. I'm like, man. I was disappointed. I wanted to ask Matt Delahanty what was his evidence that the COVID-19 jabs ever worked. Because I don't think they did. Jose Moreno. Hersey, because God is a super hot topic. That could be it also. Jose Moreno, welcome to the live stream. Oh boy, I have a challenge for all the identified atheists. Do you think there's confirmed no God, or do you just not know, or think it's unlikely, or something? That's a good question. The Daniel Denny, I'm not even ranting, I'm just dropping in knowledge. I'm not here to prove God exists. I just won't let anyone disrespect what I know to be true. Believe it or don't. It's not for me, judge. We'll both stand. Wow. Dominic, quantum tunneling is our God. 80% sure. Amos 1, oh boy, the good of the Christian Bible is contradicting by the book itself, so on. Daniel Denny, judgment one day. Maybe in 1 year, maybe in 100 years, maybe in 1,000 years, maybe in 100,000 years. Jose Moreno, also, can you prove that God is not real? Adding to old boy's question. Reason 1024. The lack of evidence points to either no God or nothing considered a God. Jose Moreno, because if you all do, game over. Amos 1 at Daniel, you're not dropping knowledge. You're making poor attempts at preaching with no evidence. Amos 1, Javier Soto, cool claims you have no evidence for. Persona non grata. Amos 1, I love this deconstruction zone. Justin has been our show, Myth Vision, several times. Hersey 98, where do you live, Clearwaters? They took God out of the schools long ago. That is what's wrong with our schools today. Well, at least in this country, in Panama, they're still teaching religion as part of the school programs. They actually have only religious schools here in Panama. And most kids, they reject the information. Man, what happened to the messages? Oh, man. Reason 1024, bro, don't do this, Clearwaters. I don't know what exactly Reason is referring to. Sometimes we have a delay. Sometimes it's hard for me to relate to one of the messages because I don't know, I don't remember what I said or something. Jose Moreno pronounce. Amos 1 Javier, everyone uses pronounce, my guy. Oh, probably you're talking about Reason about me talking about Matt Dillahunty. Hey, oh boy.
Hey, I think there was a delay with my as I was watching, so I don't know what you were just mentioning there. But maybe it was what I'm about to address. If you ever, I just want to say, if you ever do a live stream about the vaccine, I might disagree with you on that subject. So I don't know if if you find that valuable or if you'd like to take that angle with your idea of feeling good. I might have some disagreements, so just to let you know.
if you don't mind, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna do a complete live stream about that.
Oh, okay, sure.
But
that's what I mean. Like,
if,
I don't know if it interests you, but
yeah, let me ask you: do you think there's evidence that the jab ever worked?
I don't have evidence, no.
But you're in agreement with the jab? Is that what you're saying?
I would agree with you probably that I was inclined to get vaccinated during the epidemic for reasons of feeling good.
You did?
I did, yes.
And you did it because you were fearful that if you didn't get the jab, something bad was going to happen?
Yeah. Not to me as much as those around me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm willing to believe in hindsight that there was a mistake. But is there something that you would make a decision on personally that would that in your mind would be for the greater good, that would be a risk also, like similarly? I don't know.
Yeah, and you know the
You
way
don't think you would make a, you don't think you could think of a different scenario that you would maybe take that similar level of risk?
I think that we do the same thing with the pandemic and the jab. I have
Yeah.
to use the word jab because I got one of my videos blocked because I think I used the word, the other word. I think probably I
Oh,
don't
I'm
know.
sorry. Should I have not have used that
No,
word,
no,
by the
no
way?
worries, no worries. It's
Even
just
now,
me.
I didn't think about that.
No
Okay.
worries, no worries. It's just me. I prefer to use that word. But anyways, yeah, I
Sure.
think we go through the same process of people collecting information, based on everything that was happening at the moment, and then they go through their
Right.
feelings and then finding value in thinking, perceived value, that probably taking the jab was the best thing for them to do because
Right.
they
And
feel
that's
good
what
about.
I'm willing to.
Go
I
ahead.
think that's what that's why I made my decision. I would agree. But I'm just curious if there would be a similar scenario where you would make that decision. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't like, I couldn't, I'm bad with hypotheticals. I don't like using them, but I am just curious. Uh, like you would, um, I understand why someone wouldn't. You know what I mean? It was a hard decision for me to make personally. I didn't know if I should or shouldn't in the moment. Um,
I think that that question probably is gonna be a little bit hard for me to answer it, but I remember at that time
yeah, I know.
one of the biggest persons that were trying to influence me to take the shot in my family was my dad. He was telling me
Really?
why in the world you would not take it. I'm like, because I have collected enough information to doubt the efficacy of the jab
Ah, so
start.
you think you could doubt it, or like you did have good reason to in the opposite direction. It wasn't that you were unsure. I was more unsure personally, in
No,
terms of.
yeah, I think that the moment that I saw that one of the guys that invented the mRNA technology was being shut down and being quiet, I'm like, man, I think
Oh
there's
yes, I remember that.
something, yeah, something wrong
Yes.
in here. So that's when my doubt is starting to come up. Also, when I saw what's this guy's name, Dr. Fauci,
Yes.
when he was talking
Yeah.
about that the virus coming from the wet market, I'm like, wait a second. I did my own research and I found that there was a laboratory that studies coronavirus viruses right there, like 2 miles away from the market. I'm like, man, this guy didn't even mention the laboratory. Two things, that's enough for me.
Uh
This smells really bad. I'm like,
See, in
for now we're not gonna take it.
Clearwater.
Go ahead.
I mean, I wish I had that much confidence. I'd love to see your process on how you gather information and process information because, I saw the same things. You know what I mean? And I
Mm.
feel like I doubted myself. In hindsight, I do regret getting it. I don't think there was any sort of adverse effect or anything like that
How many did you get?
necessarily. I had two.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully, yeah.
But you
You
have
get in
reason to
three.
believe there is adverse effects, right? I couldn't come to a conclusion personally one way or the other. And I know you're probably more analytical as a person than me too. And you got years on me, so there's that too. But
I think right now I like to listen to Dr. Campbell. I think most of my health news come from him. I think he was a very
thank you.
good,
Yeah.
yeah, source of information through the pandemic, and his information and he having interviews with experts in the matter. Man, I started collecting information. I'm like, man, that's when I started to conclude that this whole thing was probably a business made between some of these pharmaceutical companies and some people in the government, in my point of view, because they had some vaccine and they have no sickness to sell it. And it seems to me that it was done indirectly on purpose. And in my case, I got coronavirus myself, and it was just like
Hmm.
a minor cold that I got. I noticed because of two things, because I couldn't smell anything. I couldn't feel like, coffee or lemon or anything. And because my back, man, it was really painful. I had to go to the doctor and I got tested and it got positive on coronavirus. That's how I
Man,
find out I had coronavirus.
man. Okay.
Yeah. Spent,
Interesting. I would. I'm just. You don't think you think at the end of the day it was raw information, raw data. I mean, we all take in data, but it, at the end of the day, it wasn't like a feeling for you. You don't think it was much like someone for the reason someone would believe in a god. Like I think to some degree, like me as an everyday person, I can research all I want, but my job isn't. I'm not like a medical scientist who does this research day in and day out, all hours of the day. You know, I have to put my trust into whatever medical system exists around me to some degree. I feel like I don't think that's unreasonable in terms of like how humans um, make decisions. But I don't know.
yeah,
You're making
I
me think
think,
here in terms of like how I consume data and process data.
yeah,
You
I
know?
think your question is very good because suddenly I went back to the time of the pandemic, and I remember at one point in time when my dad was telling me this stuff all the time. All the time he was calling like, "Did you get it?" I'm like, "No." But there was a point
Right.
in
And
time that the news were like, people are dying, people are dying. Then I went into kind of like fearful mode because of my family, and I'm like, man, am I doing the wrong thing? Should we take it? Just going by fear of what the news were saying at that moment, like the hospitals were full, which at the end it was
right.
a big lie. And I thought for a moment, based on my negative feeling at that moment, man, should I take it? I'm like, no, man, I had to do just a little bit of research. And at that time, the what's it called? It was not the Delta, the Omicron.
Yes,
Omicron,
yeah, the
yeah, the
variant
Omicron
of
came
the
out, and they
virus.
started saying, no, that's less lethal. It's not. It's more contagious, but it's not that bad. I'm like, man, that's it. That's it. We're not getting vaccinated. But yeah, by going fearful for a moment, I was doubting myself. I'm like, man, I have to rely on the data. I'm getting more and more data that this thing is not that lethal.
Interesting.
And
You're
then
making me want to ask more questions, and I know you don't have time now, but um, sorry, I'm lost my train of thought. I was just gonna ask one more thing. Do you? Oh man,
no worries, no
I'm sorry, I
worries.
can't remember my question. But so many questions are like coming to my mind at
Was this
once. So,
related to the
based on your answers here,
to the jab?
sorry.
Was this related to the jab? Your next question?
Yes, yeah. No, I just had a follow-up question, but then I had another follow-up question that kind of like took over and I don't remember the original thought. But
Sorry.
no, it's not. I mean, you're giving I like hearing your perspective on this particular thing. So, I'm sorry, just one more thing. Uh do you think I'm trying to think how I should word it. Do you think you could like in that moment you decided during the like because there was societal pressure to get the virus or to sorry to get the V word um
Mm-hmm.
that is what alerted you to is this the right choice like that this could be the wrong choice I should say that's what made you think this could be the wrong choice because I'm making this decision out of fear and pressure from like my family and the news. You think that you're saying that's ultimately what made you decide not to get it?
I don't know if this is gonna answer your question, but in my
Sorry
life,
if it was long-winded.
no worries. But probably I will. Every time I take decisions based on fear, most of the time they don't come out with a good
You're not
outcome.
right.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
because of this problem in that time of the pandemic and people dying, man, I'm like, I'm gonna try to collect as much information as I can and try to make a decision based on that. So even my wife at that time, she was getting upset at me because I was constantly watching videos, collecting information that had to do with the virus. And she was upset, like, Javier, you're obsessed with this. I'm like, no, I think this is
This
of
is the
very
time to be obsessed with
importance.
this.
Yeah, it's importance. So
Right.
I think that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm listening to the experts, listening to the news, listening to the other side, listening to Fauci. And that I started
Right.
making this, this structure. And I know at the end, my whatever decision that I took, it was based on my feeling about it.
Right.
It felt good not to take the vaccine because something felt for me that this
Wrong.
was going to be bad. Because when people ask me, Javier, did you get the jab? I'm like, well, I think the question is not accurate. You're asking me if I got the experimental drug injected into my
Right.
veins. No, I didn't.
Okay, one more thing, and this is the original question I had.
Sure.
Before I forget it, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
I'm just curious how you feel about medical science in general. Like, I know you're a skeptic, so you're skeptical of anything you encounter. I'm just curious, like with medical science, you and going to, I mean, just for checkups at the doctor, say, you, uh, would you agree there's some level of trust you have in someone else's understanding and someone else's expertise, you personally, if you don't mind answering?
I think that
Like, you're putting your trust at the end of the day in so many scenarios in someone else's hands. Would you say you do that?
yes, but I don't trust blindly. When I talk to a
Sure.
doctor, I try to evaluate if this doctor, there's value in coming to him, because I have experience talking to some doctors that couldn't care less anything about me, and I know that
Of course.
probably they end up buying their degree just because they're telling me something that I already know is absolutely
Right.
ignorant. So, and the other side of the coin, I have seen talk to doctors that are very extremely good, so I can tell the difference between one and the other. And so I don't go relying blindly on a doctor just
Right.
because they are called themselves doctors.
That's fair. I wouldn't. No, I'm okay. That gives me more clarity about how you think. Like, there's a degree of trust, but sorry, I was laughing there because in my head, basically, the way I just summed up what you said in my own head was, uh, the doctor's gotta at least know more than you. You gotta prod a little bit, and the
Mhm.
doctors has to have some more
Mhm.
understanding than you for you to put any level of trust. In
Yes,
that.
and also to be careful with the doctors
Yeah, I
that.
mean that's fair. I feel I do the same. I try to do the same. So
Yeah, I also noticed that you have to be careful with the doctors that you ask them questions that they get upset. I mean, in my experience,
right.
that you have to step out of that office as soon as possible.
Man, you're good at picking up on patterns, Clear Waters. I'm envious of that skill. I wish I had more cultivated ability
It seems to me that you are,
of discernment, you know.
yeah, the way you ask questions and the way you talk, man, you pretty much do the same thing. You're very aware of your surroundings.
Okay, well that gives me some confidence. I feel that I'm very unsure of so many things, and
You said on trust.
I live in constant ignorance. What?
You said you are on trust of many things. Is that what you said?
I'm untrust. Yeah, I'm a skeptic too. Like I'm
Mm,
untrust, but I admit I put my trust. I mean, with the vaccine, that's the prime example. I in a, you could argue a life or death situation. I chose. I made a decision to put my faith in another person's ability. And probably could have questioned more. So
mm,
I wanted to prod you to see to what degree you've did the same, but I think you're a lot more polished, like I said. Like you've honed the skill uh
I think it's partially also
very
of
well.
getting tired of seeing, looking around, looking outside, looking at how everything is going around in the world. And in myself, it's like, man, you know what? I think I'm gonna open a channel and just put this information out there, try to make some money at it. But also try to provide something of value, what I think. And I did this live stream that was talking about the new form of government, which didn't get very much audience, but I'm gonna
I
do
was
it
late to
again.
that one. I did want to talk. I did want to participate, but I was late to that one.
Yeah, no worries. I'm gonna do another one because I think there's there's a little bit doubt in my mind that this is how governments are going to run in the future, because I don't think anything that is going to be more efficient that what I'm probably naively suggesting. But that's why I put it out there and tell people, hey, break it, take it apart.
I'd say regardless of what you have to propose, that is a fair critique of the current situation. The establishment is that it's not sustainable. Is that a good way of summarizing what you said? Like it's not a sustainable.
It used to work along many years ago. Right now, it works against the citizens of the countries. It's not. It's
Yeah, I
not
think
in our
I
favor.
think
It's in
most people would
favor.
agree.
Yeah, it's in favor of a small groups of people. So basically,
Right.
what is the main problem right now is that we pay for the countries, but we don't own these countries. We don't take the decisions.
We do the work, but we have no. Okay, yeah, I would like to get into that conversation with you if you do that stream again.
Yeah, I will be doing a second part of that live stream. I demonstrated how to go with electing a president via a live voting system that never stops. And I think that's the best way to make people have power over their country all the time. But
Wow, I
I will,
find
I
that
will,
interesting.
yeah, I will do another live stream about that probably in the anytime soon.
Okay, I'll hopefully be there.
Hmm.
All
All
right, I
right.
appreciate you, Clearwaters. I won't take any more of your time.
Thank you, old boy. Thank you for calling, man. Those were very good questions. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night. Good night.
You too.
All right. That was old boy. Old boy. Always interesting conversations with him. He always have good points. Always welcome to call anytime you want, old boy. So going back to the chats, I'm gonna end this live stream here in just 5 more minutes. Just before we shut down. Person 98, she did Jose, but why would they show that on TV? Jose Moreno Waters, you hear anything about depopulating? I think Bill Gates was involved, could be wrong. Man, that Bill Gates, man. Having a lot of money. Diva don't play almost. Plus, if you actually got COVID-19, the immunities you get from getting it was better than the vaccine was. Oh yeah. Man, Diva don't play. Finally, I agree with you on something. The moment someone asks Dr. Fauci, what about immunity after getting exposed to the COVID-19 virus, he looked the other way like, what are you talking about? We don't know anything. We don't know. I'm like, man, that's it. I'm not taking this jab. This guy is obviously lying. So, man, I'm so glad I didn't. But that was in my case. So everyone, thank you very much for participating in this live stream. I'm heading to bed early this night. But I want to thank you everybody for participating. TXDAP, Jose Moreno, Diva Don't Play, Oh Boy, Reason 1024, Amos 1, Hersey 98, Dominic, of course, Diva Don't Play, and Saint Jab. Everybody, thank you for stopping by. You guys make this live stream more interesting. Thank you for your questions, your opinions, your observations, sharing your beliefs. So have a great night and an awesome date tomorrow.